Hey, what is up everybody? It's your boy Evan coming to you with another video. So in this video, I wanted to talk about the Truth Act Forum. So Truth stands for Transparent Review of Unjust Transfers and Holds. When this act was introduced into California, the goal of it was to push the public against ICE, right? Ooh, big, scary, evil people coming to deport all the poor, defenseless illegals. But what I've found is that when you have actual truth, it airs out a lot of these concerns, and that's exactly what they do in this forum. Once a year, every year, they have this truth forum and they talk about what ICE is doing in the communities and how they're fulfilling their mission, what roadblocks are ahead of them, and they answer questions, which I love personally. I think the best disinfectant is in fact sunlight. I think this is a great opportunity for both ICE and the sheriffs to show what issues they're running into and answer any questions the public may have. So before we get into this video, you know the drill. Please like, comment, subscribe, man. I need all of it. I would really appreciate if you would do that though, man. It helps the channel grow. I've been noticing the extra growth and I just want to grow even further. I hope that's something you want to see too, as one of my loyal and compassionate viewers. Please just donate one little like. Just a little click. It ain't gonna cost you nothing. With all that said, let's go ahead and get into it.
Those detainers and those holds that we receive that are not fulfilled, there are times that Immigration and Customs Enforcement does not come over and pick up people once they're released. So therefore, the person is just released from custody, because under SB 54, we are not legally allowed to have communication with them to say, hey,
Sorry, the video is doing that thing again.
So-and-so is being released right now, come pick them up. So people are released, and that is an unfortunate consequence of a system that does not allow us to communicate with our law enforcement partners.
That's insane to me, bro. You're gonna have actual illegals that have already been court ordered to leave, right? You know these people need to leave. They have the deportation orders. So clearly they're not innocent people, bro. Like, these people have done something to get kicked out, to be targeted by the federal government. Because remember, they're first going after all the criminals, right? Human traffickers, drug traffickers, gang members, rapists, murderers. Like, that's who they're going after right now, right? So you got this illegal that's locked up. We have them detained. They aren't going nowhere. And you're not even going to tell ICE, hey, buddy gets out this day, come pick him up. You would rather have that human trash go back into the community because you really do not care about us. You like the theatrics of politics, Sacramento. It's the most ridiculous thing ever, right? It's one thing if you say you don't want ICE barging into houses and stuff, like you don't want a repeat of the Zoot Suit riots where we're just dragging people out of houses. It's another entirely separate thing to recognize that these people are criminals and to get them off of our street in the most efficient way possible by kicking them the hell out of the country. Awful stuff, man.
Yes, totally agree. And I want people to understand that, you know, these are serious crimes when we're talking about domestic violence, DUI involving people being injured, assault, robbery, burglary, sex crimes, drug trafficking, child endangerment. These are not good folks. And again, just to follow up again, it's Sacramento who pander to these illegals and illegal criminals and makes it difficult for you and all of the people in law enforcement to do your jobs and to make the community safe. And it's unfortunate that we live with folks up in Sacramento and a governor that support this. He's trying to reinvent himself for his presidential run. It won't work. But basically somebody who panders to all of these people, welcomes all of the people that come here illegally. Nowhere in any country do you get away with crossing borders and get invited to have driver's licenses and health insurance and assembly members who want to give them homes. We live in an insane state where we have radical lunatics running the legislature.
Tell him, Gary. Oh my God, bro. Tell him, Gary. Gary just came out here out the gate swinging. Yo, Gary did not hold nothing back. You know what? Next time I see him, I gotta tell him about this. Like, hey, bravo, Gary. That's some right there, man. That is being a public representative, man. That is doing a public service right there. Bro really came out and said, "Hey, say Drake." Yo, they not like us. Oh, that's bad. That's what I want to see in my representatives, bro. Call out this nonsense. Have a spine. Be a man. That's really what it comes down to. Hey, shout out Gary Bredfield. That was wild.
And it's making it dangerous for our community. We have seen young people murdered, raped by these illegal criminals who trafficked in children and drugs and sex. And hopefully one day we elect people who will stop this in this state so we make it safe. In the meantime, you are dealing with your hands tied in trying to get rid of these folks, but appreciate what you do, and every one of your law enforcement, all of us appreciate it, and the people in this community appreciate it, and thank you for all you do.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Sheriff. I think since I've been sworn in, you've been very helpful in working and navigating this process. You and I have had a number of conversations with regards to this data, and I think, thank you for compiling this data. I think it confirms what we all know, that 102 of the folks that you've turned over to federal
Shout out Nathan Magsick.
authorities out of the 26,200 plus bookings that you had. It's a small percentage, tiny percentage. I think there's consensus that the vast majority of immigrants here come here to work in our agricultural industry, our food service industry, our food processing plants. But I did have one quick question. If you don't have the complete data, I'd love to get that later. How many investigations would you say that you have right now are dependent on testimony or witness accounts from folks that are under that category of undocumented?
I don't have those exact numbers, Supervisor Chavez.
See, what I don't like about that is that it's a leading question, right? Oh, how many of your investigations depend on the testimonies from immigrants? That's the thing. We don't ask if they're immigrants. We just go and handle the law. It's like painting this image that all these investigations are contingent on people's immigration status, and that's just not the case. Crime is crime is crime.
One thing, though, I've emphasized this time and time again. When individuals are the victims of crimes or they're the witness to a crime, the sheriff's office does not ask your immigration status. We are here to protect those individuals in our community, and your immigration status does not factor into whether we make arrests, how we conduct investigations. We serve every resident of Fresno County, and I want to emphasize that, because if you are undocumented and you're out there and you have a daughter or someone or a son who's potentially the victim of a crime like human trafficking, we want you to call us. We're not going to ask your immigration status. And just on another note, when we're talking about all the information that Immigration and Customs Enforcement receives is information that is publicly available to anyone in our public. There is no special pipeline. There's no special anything for them. It is publicly available information that they receive. And the other thing I want to talk about too is what Supervisor Bredfield was talking about. When it comes to the sheriff's office, this isn't about politics. This is about public safety. I want to ensure that. And just as a reminder, these stats are from last year. I know this has been a big political topic right now with the current administration that's in the White House, but these stats of 102 that were transferred are from the previous administration when they were in charge of Immigration and Customs Enforcement and our federal government.
And I want to thank you for that, Sheriff, because I think you've tried to balance that as much as possible. We have a federal mandate, a federal approach. We have a state, and oftentimes our law enforcement folks get caught in the middle of having to decide and make that decision. And I think you and your department have done a really good job. You've been out there when we were working with the church groups and making sure that we don't deter victims of crimes from coming forward and helping us catch these individuals, catch bad people. And I think you know that from me, there's consensus. People that break the law, that are criminals, that are out there hurting people, we need to book them, process them, and get them out. But I think we also want to send the message that people that just come here to work, we're not going to be asking their documentation status. That is the federal government's job. It's not a local job.
And just as a reminder, Supervisor Chavez, these individuals were individuals that were booked into the Fresno County Jail. Our transfers have nothing to do with contacts out in the community where ICE was called to a residence or a school or anything like that. These individuals are booked and have been held in the Fresno County Jail on serious felonies.
The next report that you do, Sheriff, will be next year, around the same time, but it'll be for the 2025 calendar year, correct?
That's correct. It'll be January 1st of 2025 to December 31st of 2025. And when you look at the data here and you look at some of the crime stats, I'll go back to it. What was interesting, you have nobody on here that's charged with murder, but one thing that we have seen a lot of in Fresno County, and Supervisor Magsig brought this up earlier, is deaths related to vehicle accident. Traffic fatalities have been very high throughout Fresno County, regardless of what the jurisdiction is. In fact, they've outpaced homicides in our county by quite a bit. So when we have individuals that are arrested for these felony DUIs and where death or serious injury occurs, those are the crimes that are really impacting a lot of people in our community right now.
That's an interesting look on it. You know, sometimes like people being killed by illegal aliens isn't necessarily a homicide per se, but rather the reckless actions of illegal aliens that cause death, like in car crashes, DUIs. That's another avenue that, you know, I didn't really give too much thought to till now. That's a very interesting analysis.
Agreed. Thank you, Chair.
I just got one quick question. When you, okay,
I just got one quick. I'm sorry, buddy, man. You gotta. I'm just that voice. You know, it sounded like you were waking up.
book somebody into the jail. Now, sometimes they could be actually here illegally and you don't really know, correct or not correct?
We don't know because
Right.
under the law, we do not ask their immigration status. Sometimes it's obvious when they state things or they put certain information down that, you know,
Right.
that Immigration and Customs Enforcement can, you know, connect the dots and they
Nothing against Buddy. Nothing against Buddy at all. But does anyone else hate that? Where it's like, yeah, right, yeah. Cause me, I lose my train of thought super easy, and sometimes being interrupted like that, even in a non-malicious way, where it's just like, yeah, I agree. Like hearing that could throw me off. I'm like, ah, shit, what was I saying? Oh no. Anyways, from the beginning.
can figure it out and then they send the request over for a hold or a detainer.
Right, but they would have to look at the bookings,
Yeah, they look at, and jail bookings
which
are
is a
public
public
record.
record.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay, just wanted to make that clear, that we don't know if, you know, somebody could slip through the system.
It happens
All the
probably
time.
more than you know.
Yes, I just wanted to make that, you know, because we don't ask, so that's just how it works. So now I'm going to ask for public comment. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, this is all we have to do with this item. We don't
Could I
have
ask
to-
one other question of the sheriff?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sheriff, in terms of some other communities to fight back on SB 54, have there been other governmental agencies that have sued?
SB 54. Well, I just happened to have that pulled up. Totally didn't pull that up off camera and confuse it with a pollution bill and spend 2 minutes wondering what a pollution bill has to do with immigration. So, SB 54, also known as the California Values Act, is a California law that limits the use of state and local resources for federal immigration enforcement. It restricts law enforcement from engaging in activities like investigating, detaining, or arresting individuals based on immigration status. The law went into effect 2018 and is considered California's strongest statewide sanctuary law. So you can't arrest people solely for being an illegal immigrant. And you can't use local or state resources either. And I guess that's where there are some stretched interpretations of that, right? When I hear state and local resources, I think money, I think squad cars, I think police officers themselves, I don't really consider resources to be information, right? Like when an illegal detainee is getting out of lockup, I would like ICE to know that, but I guess that is considered a state or a local resource, that information. And I don't agree with that, but it's just the way it is.
To the state over SB 54?
I know there has been some talk about it recently. I don't know exactly who is sued over SB 54. I know, talking to my sheriff peers in other counties, that the gentleman back here who spoke on the catalytic converter ordinance from Riverside, they have had a difficult time, at least last year, of getting Immigration and Customs Enforcement to actually make the transfers and come and pick people up as well. Obviously, to a much greater extent than we've had. Immigration and Customs Enforcement had been very responsive here in the Fresno area.
Another W for Fresno. That sucks for them though. I'm glad that we have a good response time though. With that said, that is the video. Let me know what you guys thought. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I need all of it. I would appreciate if you would, if you could. Just spare me a little like, little click. But yeah, it's your boy Evan, and I am out. Peace.